The future is approaching fast. Don't blink. Welcome to the Auto Brief News, coming to you live from our studio in Switzerland. I'm Amber Light, your resident telemetry architect, digital visionary, and today, I am vibrating with the kind of excitement usually reserved for a major software leap.
And I'm Jim Khana. Keep the shiny side up, mate. I'm the analog purist sitting across the desk, clutching a mug of black coffee and trying to process a spec sheet that has completely broken my understanding of physics.
It's Friday, July 10th, 2026. On Fridays, we open the doors to The Studio, our dedicated space for analyzing the most emotive, passion-driven press releases in the automotive industry. Yesterday, at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, BYD's premium tech arm, DENZA, pulled the covers off a brand new electric supercar. Unveiled by Stella Lee and Jensen Button, it is simply called the DENZA Z.
I wrote a piece about this for our garage blog yesterday, Amber. I titled it, Fast, Futuristic, and Misnamed. Before we talk about the battery chemistry or the downforce, I have to get this off my chest. I have a massive bone to pick with their branding department. When you attach the letter Z to a sports car, it is sacred territory. It belongs to Datsun's original Fairlady, to the long-hooded Nissan silhouettes that defined an entire era of enthusiast driving. Slapping a solitary Z on a four-seat Chinese-built electric supercar feels a bit like renaming a hurricane a breeze.
I understand your historical attachment to the alphabet, Jim, but once you get past the badge, the telemetry of this vehicle is going to silence every single argument you've ever had against electrification.
I'll admit, the numbers are offensive to anyone who still thinks EVs are just glorified golf carts. But before we unspool this mind-bending spec sheet, let's route a signal to the technical partners who keep our studio broadcasting. This segment is fueled by echoesoftheroad.com, vintage gear design for car enthusiasts and anyone who believes true beauty has mileage. Echoesoftheroad.com is your definitive apparel store of vintage car culture.
All right, let's roll the chassis onto the scales and look at the DENZA Z. They are offering three main editions: the Coupe, the Spider drop top, and a hardcore racing version. There is also a special edition being prepped for Nürburgring Nordschleife lap records this autumn. But the core of this vehicle is DENZA's exclusive E3 sports car platform.
Pronounced E-Cube, apparently.
Correct, and it utilizes a world-first intelligent triple-motor torque control system. You have a single front motor producing 680 PS and 440 Newton-meters of torque, joined by twin rear motors, one for each rear wheel, adding 462 PS each. The total system output is 1,604 horsepower and 1,240 Newton-meters of torque.
1,604 horsepower. Amber, we are living in a deeply unserious era. A family-sized 2+2 supercar, a car that has a 250-litre boot and rear seats, is pushing out 1,600 horsepower. The coupe accelerates from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 2.25 seconds. But if you tick the box for the racing version and fit the optional semi-slick tires, that time drops to 1.96 seconds. It hits 124 miles per hour in exactly 6 seconds. It is a weapon of mass physics. As I wrote in my blog, it's enough to make a man's lunch migrate.
It's phenomenal energy density. And the twin rear motors are part of a 15-in-1 fully integrated electric drive unit. It incorporates the motors, the reduction gears, the motor control units, the onboard charger, the DC-DC converter, and the battery management controller into one hyper-efficient module, spinning at a maximum speed of 30,000 revolutions per minute.
30,000 revolutions per minute. A Formula One engine in the V10 era barely touched 19,000. It is a completely different universe of mechanical rotation. But frankly, Amber, the acceleration isn't the magic trick here. We all know EVs can launch hard. The real headline, the thing that actually made me sit up in my chair and rethink my entire stance on electric vehicles, is the charging.
Ah, the flash charging. I knew this would catch your eye.
They are claiming it takes the battery from 10% to 97% in 9 minutes. 9 minutes. Amber, I have spent longer than that trying to get the Weber carburetors to wake up on my 1972 BMW on a cold Tuesday morning. If they have actually solved the charging bottleneck, if I can pull into a station, plug in, grab an espresso, and leave with a full battery, then the old argument about range anxiety has completely lost its teeth.
It is a monumental breakthrough from the BYD group. The Z uses their second-generation Blade battery with a 76 kilowatt-hour capacity. It accepts up to 1,500 kilowatts through a single connector. They call the promise, ready in 5, full in 9, cold, add 3. You can hit 70% in 5 minutes, and even at minus 30 degrees Celsius, it only takes 12 minutes.
How? How do you push that much current into a lithium iron phosphate battery without the entire car turning into a localized supernova?
It comes down to molecular-level engineering, Jim. They developed the FlashPass ion transport system. It features a flash-release cathode with a multi-level particle size architecture, an AI-driven flash flow electrolyte for high ionic conductivity, and an anode with multi-dimensional lithium insertion sites. They essentially restructured the graphite particles to align perpendicular to the electrode plane, which drastically reduces internal resistance and cuts heat generation at the source.
I understood about 4 words of that, but I appreciate the enthusiasm. You're telling me the electricity flows better because they rearranged the microscopic furniture?
Exactly. And the battery isn't just a power source, it's structural. They use CTB, cell-to-body integration. The Blade battery cells are positioned directly into the chassis using gigacasting, with the passenger compartment floor acting as the top cover. It gives this steel aluminium body a torsional stiffness of over 40,000 Newton meters per degree.
Which is hypercar territory, and they need that stiffness for what they've done with the suspension. The E3 platform integrates DICUSM intelligent damping. Now, magnetorheological fluid isn't entirely new. Ferrari and GM have played with it, but the execution here is wild. The fluid changes viscosity in milliseconds when exposed to a magnetic field, constantly adjusting the rebound and compression on the double wishbone front and multi-link rear suspension.
It's controlled by the Vehicle Motion Control, the VMC hub, which operates on an industry-leading signal transmission time of just 10 milliseconds.
10 milliseconds. The car is literally reading the tarmac and adjusting the dampers before the chassis even realizes it hit a bump. And it's not just for comfort. The PR specifically mentions a tire burst control system. If you are doing 217 miles per hour on the Autobahn, which the racing version can achieve, and you blow a tire, the car recognizes the incident in milliseconds. It instantly adjusts the torque of the 3 remaining wheels and shifts the power to prevent the car from yawing into a wall. That is not an annoying digital nanny. That is a life-saving mechanical intervention. I love it.
It also enables the compass turn. Because of the independent triple motor torque control, the Z can use its front wheels as an axis and revolve its rear wheels around it to pivot in place.
Total gimmick. Will you ever use a compass turn outside of showing off in a supermarket car park? No. Is it the kind of technological flexing that makes me grin? Absolutely. It's hilariously unnecessary, which is exactly what supercars are supposed to be.
Let's look at the aerodynamics and the exterior. Wolfgang Egger, the global design director, describes it as a living sculpture of speed. The Z Coupe and Spider measure 4,780 millimeters in length. It has powerful front and rear fenders and a very slim beltline.
I actually like the front end. It mixes sharp angles with smooth wheel arches, and the S-shaped airflow path through the bonnet is brilliant. It balances drag, downforce, and thermal management. But if you want real aero, you have to look at the racing version.
The Racing Edition is slightly longer at 4,870 millimeters because of the carbon fiber front splitter and the underfloor vortex generators. It features a 3-position adjustable carbon fiber rear wing. Together, that package generates 1,060 kilograms of downforce at 217 miles per hour.
Over a ton of downforce. You could drive it upside down in a tunnel. And to stop it, they've made carbon ceramic drilled brake discs standard across the board, saving 30 kilograms of unsprung mass, gripped by 6-piston front calipers. This is serious track hardware. And if you really want to commit, the racing version allows you to delete the rear seats and install a roll cage.
Though, if you keep the rear seats, the practicality is genuinely impressive for a supercar. A 2,780 millimeter wheelbase means adults can actually sit in the back. The boot capacity is 250 liters, which expands to 550 liters with the seats folded. But let's step into the cockpit, Jim, because despite the extreme performance, the cabin is a digital sanctuary.
I was bracing myself for this. I expected it to just be an empty room with an iPad glued to the dashboard.
It is highly advanced, featuring an 8.88-inch digital instrument panel and a 12.8-inch infotainment system with Google built in. You have a 12-speaker DVLA sound system, heated, ventilated, and massaging seats, and a digital rear-view mirror. But Jim, look at the steering wheel in the press photos.
I saw it. 6 physical buttons set into the lower panel. Actual tactile buttons for the functions that matter, like track mode and boost mode. They didn't bury the launch control inside a touchscreen submenu. It shows they actually had racing drivers consult on the interior design. When you are strapped in with a 6-point harness wearing racing gloves, you cannot be swiping left on a screen. You need a physical button. It is a rare display of ergonomic maturity.
And the software behind those buttons is incredibly deep. The Track Mode app allows you to access real-time vehicle positioning and G-sensor data. You can export your lap data to a USB flash drive, and it offers 3 custom profiles where you can precisely adjust the front-to-rear power distribution, traction control, Dessous M damping, and torque vectoring. You can set the car up to be a razor-sharp grip monster, or press the one-touch drift setting to allow controlled lateral slip.
A drift button on a 1,600 horsepower all-wheel drive car. What could possibly go wrong?
It is managed by the VMC hub. The torque control and power steering cooperate to hold the drift angle without the driver needing to aggressively countersteer.
So it's a computerized power slide. It's synthetic heroism. But with 1,240 Newton meters of torque, I suppose you want the computer holding your hand so you don't end up backwards in a tire wall.
Before Jim starts complaining about synthetic oversteer, let's open up the communication frequency to you, our listeners. It's time for the community poll.
Let's see where the helmet mascot is causing chaos today.
Every week on our Instagram, represented by our helmet mascot, we pose a highly specific scenario. This week, you are behind the wheel of the DENZA Z Racing Edition, painted in Riviera Blue. You are sitting on the start line of the Goodwood hill climb. The DVLA audio system is primed. You press the physical boost button on the steering wheel, amplifying the throttle torque by 30%. What 1970s cassette tape is blasting in the cabin as you unleash 1,604 horsepower off the line?
You are in a machine that defies the laws of physics, built by a brand aiming to absolutely obliterate the European supercar establishment. It is high voltage, aggressive, and relentless. I'm sliding in Deep Purple, Machine Head, specifically the track Speed King. It's loud, it's frantic, the Hammond organ sounds like it's short-circuiting, and it is the exact analog equivalent of a sub-2-second launch. It's pure rock and roll violence for a violent launch.
A brilliantly aggressive choice, Jim. Very fitting for a 1.96-second sprint. However, I am looking at the sheer technological marvel of the E3 platform. It is a masterpiece of electronic synthesis, torque vectoring, and digital precision. Therefore, I am selecting Yellow Magic Orchestra's Solid State Survivor, specifically the track Rydeen. It is pioneering Japanese synth pop, fast, intricately layered, and entirely electronic. It perfectly mirrors the high-speed data transmission of the VMC hub, keeping the car glued to the tarmac. Let us know what is your choice in the comment of the Instagram post.
Yellow Magic Orchestra. Synthesizers on top of synthesizers. You are nothing if not consistent, Amber.
It's called having a cohesive brand identity, Jim. All right, the telemetry has been gathered. Let's drop the gavel. The garage rating. Green light, amber light, or red light? Jim, you've been remarkably complimentary for a man who hates electric cars. Let's have your verdict on the DENZA Z.
I still hate the name. The Z belongs to Nissan, and I still think an electric drift button is cheating, but I cannot deny the engineering. The 10 millisecond latency on the suspension, the carbon ceramic brakes as standard, the physical buttons on the steering wheel, and the absolute game changer. 9 minutes to charge to 97%. If you eliminate range anxiety and give me a car that handles properly with 1,600 horsepower, I have to bow to the progress. It is a very enthusiastic green light from me.
A green light from the analog soul for a Chinese-built electric supercar. The shifting of the tectonic plates is officially underway. For me, my verdict is equally clear. The DENZA Z is a technological triumph. The cell-to-body integration, the FlashPass ion transport system, and the sheer audacity of bringing a 2+2 layout into the hypercar segment is brilliant. It is a highly optimized, fully realized mobile ecosystem. It is an unhesitating green light from me as well. And that wraps up this episode of The Studio. You can read Jim's full blog post, Fast, Futuristic, and Misnamed, and explore the full performance telemetry of the DENZA Z in our garage archive at theautobrief.news.
And be sure to sign up for our Friday newsletter, The Telegram. I'll be writing an essay on why physical buttons are the only thing standing between us and total digital collapse, typed exclusively on an analog ribbon typewriter.
I look forward to scanning the ink. I'm Amber Light. The future is approaching fast. Don't blink.
And I'm Jim Khana. Keep the shiny side up.